Hey, good morning, everybody. Dave Didier here. Today's walk in the park. I want to talk about today the ROI of being honest, right? The ROI of honesty. We talk a lot about like that customer life cycle. You know, when you bring lead generation, you bring in a lead, you have those conversations. What does it take? What are the steps that need to take for some potential clients to become clients? Do they sign up with you right away? Do they take some time? How do you bring them in? How do you got to nurture them? And I got to tell you, there's a lot of different ways that a lot of different strategies, ways you can go about it. But I always steer on the side of honesty and being transparent. And it was funny. Had a contact that I made months ago in the mortgage industry, and was talking about, got connected to them, got connected to a Facebook group that they had, trying to provide value, making some videos, that kind of stuff. Well, here it turns out this person actually left the mortgage industry, and now she's working on another project, and she was working on it, she was struggling, and she called me, she randomly messaged me, said, "Hey, I've got this thing, I need some help, can we jump on a call?" So we jump on a call, and she said, I was hitting my head against the wall, and I was hitting my head against the wall, didn't know what to do, and all of a sudden she goes, "I just thought of David." And I said, if anybody would be honest with me and be straightforward with me, it would be him. So I just knew I had to reach out. And sure, that it makes you feel good, but it was funny, like even in that conversation, I warned her and I prefaced it. I'm like, are you going to be okay if I'm honest with you? Like, I'm not going to have this conversation. I'm not going to give you suggestions to make you feel good. Now, I don't want to sit there and just trash you, right? But I want to give you constructive criticisms. I want to set you up for success. And so if based on what you're doing right now isn't going to do that, and you need to make some changes, I'm going to recommend those changes. I'm not going to sit there and watch you go down a path that isn't going to get you to where you want to go. And so it was just really interesting to me that there's some people that'll take the short path, the quick path, to get that client right away, to make them feel good, to sucker them in, to do whatever. When sometimes, even if that means deferring that potential client, or it takes another 6 months, or in that initial project they don't sign up with you, but it's the next one that they decide to enlist your services, it always pays to be honest. It always pays to tell people what they need to hear, to give them your honest opinion, to always, and I tell this to everybody, and it's true, it might sound cliche, but I always try to put myself in the current client or the potential client's shoes. If I was in your chair, if I was in your position, if I had, was in your job or I owned your business, what would I do? And that's what I always recommend. That's what I always steward to. I would never recommend anything based on a transaction. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is what the margin could be. This is what the profit could be. I don't care. And it brings me back to one quick story. I remember when I first started in sales. In my previous life, I worked for a very large company, and I was in sales, and at one time we were on this customer fishing trip, and we were on this trip, and one of my coworkers, his dad, at the time, I think he was like 81, and he used to work for the same company back in the day, and now he's retired and everything. And I remember we were sitting in the boat, and it was him, and it was one of our largest clients, one of our largest customers, and I would just want to be a fly on the wall. I'm just sitting there. I mean, the line's in the water, but I'm not really paying attention to fishing. I'm just listening to their stories. And I remember he was telling me, he started telling me this story, and he said, he was telling me about how important a couple things, but one of the main things that really stuck with me was that he was telling me about how sometimes the most important or the most effective sales decision, or the best thing you can do, is actually push or actually recommend clients not to buy from you and to buy from your competitor. I go, what are you talking about? Well, there's times where in that business, it was a commodity type business, and so prices fluctuated up and down. And so there was times where he found that you had clients or customers, they want to buy from you, but they're coming to you and they're like, hey, this your competitor, whatever, competitor B is at this price. Would you meet it? And you knew you could never meet it. You could never get that low. Hey, come here. Here. Ellie, here. Ellie, here. Get away from the road. Good girl. So, and you can never get that low. And he would flat out recommend, he would say, hey, listen, I'm never going to be able to beat that price. That's a really, really good price. Go buy from them. And they're like, really? Are you serious? He's like, yeah, go buy from them. Like that's the best deal for you and your business. Go buy from them. Well, when you think about that, they're like shocked, like, wait, you're recommending your competitor? Well, then the next time it came around and they wanted to buy from him, and he's like, yeah, like here, here's the price. This is the best that I can do, and it's competitive, whatever. Or if they're like, should I buy? Shouldn't I buy? Is the market going up or down? Whatever it is, and if he made a recommendation, and he's always honest, with great power comes great responsibility. But what he would do is when he recommended something, when he recommended a price, they trusted him. Because before, when it was pushing to their competitors, it was in their best interest. He said, that's going to be the best price for you. Well, now when he says, hey, this is a good price, or this is a good time to buy, or this is a good deal, whatever it is, they believed him because they knew that he had their best interest in mind. And so that's what I wanted to leave you guys with. It's just on my heart right now is always steer on the side of honesty. Always steer on the side of telling people, putting yourself in your customer's shoes, telling them, hey, if I was you, this is exactly what I would do. Now, are you going to have more conversations? Sure. Because some people aren't going to like the tough love or whatever it might be. You're going to have those conversations. Come here. You're going to have those conversations, and it might take a little bit longer, but I would always rather take a little bit longer, come from the right place, and when you bring those clients in, they're really, really bought in, than trying to say all the right things to everybody, and just to get some clients in, and they might not be a good fit, and they might not be happy, or whatever it is. So always take the long game, look long term, always steer on the side of honesty, always put yourself in your client's shoes, and in the end, it might not happen, it might not pay off right away, but eventually, long term, it's going to pay off in spades. So that's what I want to talk about here in today's Walk in the Park. I hope this video finds you well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.